Hey everybody, Cranky Stacker here. This is going to be part two of the water filtration and water catch video. So let me adjust a couple of things here. I've got several things I need to talk to you all about. But this one I promised last night. Now, in part one, I said I'd get back to this contraption here as far as water storage. This is what was in the corner. It's called an IBC container. And you can get these in, most of them are food grade level of plastics involved in them. The IBC tote, you'll see them with oils and, high fructose corn syrup, that type of thing. But you can get them clean and good for potable water. These are some of the accessories that go along on it. And I do have a 275 gallon tank that I use as a rain catch. I ran some gutter to it, threw some filters and things. There's a pre-filter system that you can set up when you're using rainwater catch techniques, and I do recommend that there's several videos out there that show how you do the pre-filter on a system. I don't have that. I don't utilize that. There is always a sediment layer toward the bottom of any container of water that you store, whether it be a 55 gallon drum like the blue ones out there, or an IBC or whatever. There's always a sediment layer. And so, if you're using this for long-term storage, I use this for watering my fruit trees and garden if necessary. But you can use it for, I have mine adapted down here with a 2-inch ball valve and a brass fitting down to a garden hose. And I've elevated the tank so that I can just, by gravity, water my garden or my fruit trees, whatever I decide. But I also have what's called a transfer pump, and you can hook it in line here, and it actually will pump the water out of here faster and fast enough to run a sprinkler if you want to run a sprinkler on your garden. So that's a good thing. That's 275 gallons of water storage right there. And they're really durable and tough and really heavy when you're elevating them. And then, of course, you saw the 55 gallon drums outside. I have those. The red funnel that I had for the top of that came from a company called U-Line, and it's just the letter U, line. Really good industrial catalog. They'll send you a catalog that's about 1.5 inches thick, 1.25 inches thick, and it's got multiple different things that you can use around the homestead, farmstead, whatever. But I do recommend that you use like a clear plastic, a white plastic drum, or a blue plastic drum like I have. I will make one more note here, though. You noticed in the first video that this was wrapped in dark black plastic, and I do that for the rain barrel catch as well, because if you don't wrap it in dark black plastic, basically it will grow algae a lot quicker. So in order to keep it as clean as possible, I wrap those in black plastic for the season. Along that line with the algae and control and purification and all that sort of thing, I use what you saw in the jar in part one is calcium hypochlorite. It's basically pool shock. And the calcium hypochlorite is bleach. You can take 1/8 teaspoon of bleach, of the granular calcium hypochlorite, put 1/8 teaspoon into a gallon of water and let it sit 30 minutes, and you have bleach. There is a chart available online that shows exactly what types of measurements for what purposes that you're using that chemical, and I would highly recommend, safety first. The medical part me comes out. I wear chemical gloves, and I wear eye protection when I'm messing with this stuff, because it doesn't take very much, and you're either chemically burnt, or your eyes are one of the few things in your body that will not repair themselves. So you only got two eyes, so take care of those. Anyway, calcium hypochlorite, that the jar that I showed you will probably clean about 40,000 gallons of water to make it drinkable, potable, or just for sanitary reasons. As far as in an SHTF scenario, people are going to be wanting some for hygiene. It's recommended that you allow a gallon per person per day for hygiene and for drinking, for consumption, if there is no water source other than stored water. Now, I have the 55-gallon drums outside, and I have a couple of 30-gallon drums inside. We have a local barrel company here that probably 80% of their business is the 55-gallon drum. You can get them never used. They're a few dollars more, but just for catching rainwater, for watering and that type of thing, I paid like $35 a piece for those, so they're pretty cheap. It's just good long-term storage. In the basement of the house, I got at Cranky Acres, I've got a couple of 30-gallon drums that I paid about half again as much, because again, they're not as high a volume. But for inside storage, they're really good. The calcium hypochlorite will cleanse, sanitize that amount of water fairly efficiently, very efficiently. I mean, it's used to clean pools. But it's a really good thing, and it's pretty cheap. It's about $10 for $15 maybe for enough to do 40,000 gallons. And if we get to that point, then it's all bets are off anyway. So that's the water filtration that I use. I will say, check your local laws, your state laws, because in some states it is illegal, against the law, to catch and hold rain. Idaho is one in particular that I'm pretty sure is. I think there's about 8 states that I'm aware of that you cannot legally catch and hold rainwater. And I don't know. It's I say, my personal opinion, go for it. This is still land of the free. Anyway, that's what I use for rain catching and water purification. I also have a 5-gallon bucket. I was going to show you that. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So this is what I use for portable filtering. I have a life straw in my get home bag, but the Sawyer tap filter is a really cool little system. This will do several thousand gallons. And it's just a real cool little kit. But the main point here, I'm going to move the camera and show y'all. I'm not a paid endorser of anybody's products, but this is a bucket with a lid. And then I took a 1-inch hole saw, got a hose thread fitting, which this will fit onto, and then you just gravity feed through that to filter water for drinking, and you don't have to worry about the calcium chlorite or calcium hypochlorite, excuse me. That's the main gist of what I wanted to talk about as far as water filtration and things go. And then, of course, there's always the good old-fashioned wood fire and boiling. You know, you have to know what you're doing when you do that. Still, but there's a lot of ways of taking non-potable water and making it a potable water. There's tablets that you can get. Those are good for camping and that sort of thing. So, all that being said, I think we're coming into the hot months, and I really, really, truly do think that things are going to get a little worse this summer. We're already seeing a lot of a very high increase in criminal activities in our area. Seems the police helicopters above our house at least twice a night. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I do think, even if things don't go completely to shit, if you prepare for it to go completely to shit, then you'll be in good shape. And I would highly recommend, people can go, and I've said this in videos before with my bug out bag and my first aid bag. People can go 2 to 3 weeks without food, but the delivery system we have set up is just in time kind of system, and it's not gonna be there after 3 days. There's not gonna be any food, so stock up on your brass and lead and things like that. And then the water, you can go 3 days, and all hell's gonna break loose in an urban situation. So pay attention to things that are going on around you. Personally, with the water system being part of the infrastructure that I think will partially be targeted or primarily be targeted, I think it's a good idea to have those types of things going. And you can even catch, if you have a piece of plastic or a roll of plastic for construction, or a tarp even, there are ways of catching enough water to get by on with things like that. You have to know your stuff. So do your due diligence, learn something this week, and not just about precious metals. Make it something that's gonna, in a life and death situation, you'll be able to hold your own. That's about it as far as this video goes. So if anybody has any questions, they want to get a hold of me, my email is on my channel page. Certain people can and will have my phone number, but email's the easiest way to get a hold of me. And if you have other questions, I'd be happy to try and help you out and answer them. If you got any questions about what types of things to have in a emergency first aid kit, go back and watch my video on it and see if you have any questions after that. If you do, then feel free to contact me. That's going to be it on part 2 of this video. And I'm going to have another one coming out, and it's going to be a good news, bad news kind of thing. So that'll probably come out tomorrow. And I don't know. It's been a rough month. So I'll get into that a little bit in the next video. But anyway, everybody stay safe, shoot straight, keep stacking, and stack the right stuff. That's it. I'm out.